All right. Okay. Hello, hello. We are live. Hello, everybody. We are live from Montessori Institute Prague. I will just double check quickly on our Facebook that we are live. And I have a really wonderful guest today here. You have seen this woman before, I'm pretty sure, because she is rather famous.
Yeah.
And so, welcome, Sue Pritzker, to my Facebook Live Talk with Mirka. I'm so happy. Yes, and we are streaming. I'm so happy you are here. I
I'm
can
happy
see
to be
that
here.
somehow we've set a dark background for the frame on Facebook, but it actually goes very nicely with your situation because everybody can see that it's in early morning for you,
Yes.
and that yes. So here is the end of the day, and where Sue is the beginning of the day. So welcome, Sue.
Oh, hi, Mirka. Yes, it is definitely, it is dark in there and dark here. Yes.
Yes. Thank you for taking the time to talk today with me. People are coming to Montessori Institute Prague's Facebook page for these lives. They're enjoying it a lot. So I see that there are two people watching us right now. We're saying hello, and you can
Hello.
share in yes, and we can share in chat where you are joining us from. We'll be very happy to see that. And Sue and I are going to talk about October, interestingly enough. It's October. We're going to talk about what is October like for Montessori school leaders.
Yeah.
Because in majority of the world, this is a second month or beginning of the school year usually,
Mhm.
and that's quite an interesting time
Yes.
for every Montessori school leader. So, without much further ado, I will ask Sue my first question, and that is, Sue, what is it like in October? What is October like for a Montessori school leader?
Well, we're going to assume that we're in the Northern Hemisphere
Yes.
here because I think October is fine if you're in Buenos Aires. But yeah, it's October is a time of resettling. What happens in a school setting is that there's so much data driven um, happening at the beginning of the year. So you're learning the children, you're learning who they are, you're trying to remember who the parents are. Um, you're beginning to, with new staff, try to understand what their needs are. Are they going to come and ask for help, or do you need to reach out to make sure? So I think it's I've been thinking about those charts, those Maria Montessori charts, and the one that she calls the constructive rhythm of life.
Mm-hmm.
And with October, you have to think of it's the constructive rhythm of the year. So it's resettling, it's being out for the administrator in the community, seeing parents, checking in on everyone. It's just where you are beginning to see what the picture will look like for the rest of the year. That's a little
Interesting.
introduction.
Yes. Thank you so much. So you said checking on everyone and taking, making sure that the the school leader knows everybody's needs, and at the same time they also have to kind of keep in their mind that it's the beginning of the year. What are all this, what are we going to do this whole year? And it's a tough job to be a
Yes.
Montessori school leader, and
Yes.
I wonder if, like, you used to be a head of a school for 30 years. You
Yes.
have a lot of beautiful experience. Is it a happy time or is it a scary time? What do you do to kind of go through this period with a smile on your face and helping everybody to be in a good mood, and just
Yeah.
anything that
I
comes to
think
mind?
I think, Mirka, that everything is sort of what we call top loaded or front loaded in August and September. And it's like, when you're traveling to a new place and you pick up all the vibes, you gather the data, but then there's a little bit of a settling. And so I think what that is you're really trying to, this is a time where you're beginning in your school calendar to do probably observations of parents and conferences, So that's when you're noticing the tone in your school. You begin to think, oh, the parents are going to be coming in and looking and seeing what it feels like. What's the vibe? So that's when I think the leader has to be very self-aware and reflective of, do they feel calm?
Mm-hmm.
Are they in sync with any office people that they have? I always think by this time, everyone should know the name of every child. They might
Mm-hmm.
not know the story for every child, but this is the kind of time where you start building the culture in the school. You start seeing the values come up. Are people being kind to each other, friendly, open? Because this is when people will be coming into the community and they'll get that sense from you on whether or not you feel that things are going well. So I think it is a time for the leader. And so I think for the leader and for the teachers, especially, probably for anyone, it's, what am I doing internally to
Mm-hmm.
see where I am and what my needs are, and letting people know what I need. And then
Mm-hmm.
externally, really a calm presence. The
Mm-hmm.
children now have had some lessons. You're beginning to collect the data. You're kind of setting the tone for the rest of the year in the classroom for sure. So
Yes.
I think it has to be that inner outer energy at this time.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. So, can you remember when you were a school leader, did you have some kind of a special routine to do that inner preparation? What did you do? Can you share some practical tips?
Probably it depends on which of the decades you were in. When you first start out as a leader, you're very much on the high energy activity side, and you find time for reflection when you can. And then you get into more years and you start to reflect more, and you put it into your day and into your week. Um, you maybe start asking more questions. So this is where the time of the year you ask, and don't say, how are you doing? You might get a different answer. Just say, what's going well for you this week? If you're young and small school, you could ask people to write you a note at the end of the week. What was a really good thing that happened this week? What challenge are you going to carry into next week? So simple, short questions. It's kind of like kneading the bread. It's like kneading the bread,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank
getting it
you.
ready to rise.
Yes. Oh, yes. Thank you for sharing that. I just want to say hello to the people sort of come and go through the stream. So whoever is new, welcome here. And if you have any questions about the beginning of a school year and how you as a Montessori leader or a Montessori teacher can deal with it or prepare for it, go through it in the best possible way, please share it in chat because I will show it to Sue and she can also answer your questions if you have some questions of your own. Yes. So I know, in particularly in our school, I'm in touch with Hanka, who's the head of our school, the school that runs under the auspices of the training center. And we've had a lot of illnesses in the fall because after the summer, everybody comes, and I think that's probably the case everywhere before that collective immunity of the whole team.
It's the new germ pool, as they say.
Yes.
At the lab, in the lab, it's a new Petri dish.
Yes, exactly. So you know what I'm talking about. Did you have some kind of a secret uh,
Yes.
procedure how to deal with this kind of thing?
It's hard in these days to say, oh, just bring someone else in, because it's hard to find the people to bring in. But my secret is, tell people to take an extra day. If there's any way for them to take the extra day when they're not feeling well, because people stay sick much longer if they're coming back at half energy. So it that was my rule, is that if substitutes were available, if one of us in the office could step in to give them that time, we would do that. And I
Mhm.
think this is the time that teachers really see how far you will go as a
Yeah.
leader.
Yeah.
will you step in? Will you really help too? Not just sit in the office and try to solve it by making phone calls. So I think they really appreciate that, and they really appreciate knowing that it takes a while to feel better.
Yes. So hello to Joanne. She's in Spain. Hi, Joanne.
Thank you, Matt.
Yes, if Joanne, if you have any questions for Sue, please put it in chat. You can use this time to ask anything you like, and we are discuss for those of you who just joined. We are discussing the beginning of a school year. What is it like for a Montessori school leader, and how we can best prepare to hold everybody up while holding ourselves up as well. So, Sue, what are the must-dos? Do you say must-dos for a school leader? Yeah, must-dos for a school leader to ensure, ideally, to ensure that they can go through a school year and be there for everyone throughout, this whole time. Because that's a huge ask, right, for a school
It
leader to
is.
have to be there.
Yeah.
So, I assume.
Yeah, I do have an idea, which is that you don't want to sweep anything under the carpet. So October is the time, especially conferences are coming. So do the teachers ask too much of themselves during conferences? Can you help them make a very format that's really simple? And so they're just talking with a parent. Teachers often try to fit too much information into too little time, and so give the parents the time to talk and ask their questions. What you have in writing, you can send to them in writing, but make that time so that the parent feels connected. This is also the time you watch the relationships. How is the assistant getting along with the guide? How is the assistant getting along with the children, especially if they are new? And then you want to, as for your whole staff, this is a check-in time. So your meetings are check-in. How are the children doing? Who are you really keeping an eye on? Who is going to need some extra help? So if you set the stage for the rest of the year, by the time you get into November, and you know where the energy has to go and where the teacher's energy is going, then you're going to have a much better chance to help them in the way that they really need help.
Yeah, thank you. So you can see a note from Joanne. She says, "Oh, so busy at the start of the year. I like to plan everything well in advance so I can be around to talk to parents at start and end times." Thank you, Joanne, so much for sharing. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Joanne is touching upon like the plan for school year. Do you recommend leaders of schools to have a plan for the whole school year as to what events happen and when do we have parent conferences, observations, and all of that? Is there like a calendar structure of the school year? Did you have something like that? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, I think our biggest problem as leaders is that we don't plan enough. We keep the plan in our head, so we're observing and seeing everything, but then it's getting it down to what's manageable, what I can do, what I may not get to. But what I see is the actual, and I've been talking with the advisory group that we have put together, and this was all we talked about was structure. And that means putting down in writing on a computer in a program so you can see what you see and not just keep it in your head. Then the next step is to say, okay, I cannot do all of this. So what's the priority? What I like about what Joanne said was that she's prioritizing the relationships, because the relationships will build the culture, and that's what sustains you through the year. So the main thing is whatever you do, put it in front of you so you can see it. And it's just like if you're in the classroom, you plan lessons and you don't get to all of them. In elementary, the children are working together really well, and all the lessons you wanted to give them, you have to wait. So it's like that as an admin, but you keep it in front of you so you actually see. the
Yeah.
plan.
When is the best time to have a plan like that ready for a school year? If a school year starts in September, when would you do this work as a school leader?
I tried to write something for myself in August about what I thought the school year was going to be like. So I would just say, like, try to make 3 points. What do I think is going to be our strengths this year? Then where are going to be our challenges? So let's say I have 3 brand new teachers in lower elementary, and I only have 3 classes. So I can start to see those patterns. And so I would do that in August, and then then you are on a regular basis, at least every couple of weeks, looking and saying, what's standing out? What's popping up? What's happening? So if you stay with a plan and don't veer from it and don't look to see what's really happening, that creates some danger for you.
Yeah. Thank you. So maybe one last question, and then we'll share with people about how they can learn from you. That because there's an opportunity coming up, and I will share that in just a moment. The structure, it comes up every time we speak, you and I. We always talk about the structures, underlying structures that need to be in place in Montessori schools. So how does what we just talked about, what are our strengths for this year, what are our weaknesses, what is our plan of action, how does that relate to a strategic plan of a school? Can you draw some connections there for people who are? Thank you, we have 10 viewers now. Amazing. So hello to everybody, and please put in chat, tell us where are you joining from. We'd love to hear from you, so that we know who is watching, and give us some questions. If you have some questions for Sue, this is your chance to ask. Okay, so back to should every school have a strategic plan, and how? Yes.
Yeah, I think this is one of the things we do so well, and is one of the most popular activities that we go through in the AMI administrators course, is doing a very simple strategic plan. Even if a school doesn't have it, if you own your school, then it can easily be just what you would call a business plan. But you need to put something down about your mission or vision, but something that revolves around what are our values, who we are, and then very simply set goals from that. The most important thing is that your goal would need to be simple, like I want to have the optimum Montessori implementation, very general. Then you can make it into the thing. So when you see that, when I always worked with a strategic plan, because child peace was large enough that we needed it, because we couldn't do all 12 things that we wanted. We had to find some things that we were focused on each year. And the main thing is that whatever you write down, whatever you say, even like for the month, for the year, for 5 years, whatever you write down, you have to keep going back to it. Make sure that there's action items that you can actually do. So if that means increase the salaries for the teachers so they stay, that's one action item. Yes. And then you plan around it. So it's the only thing that moves us forward. In Montessori, we're so busy and we don't get to it. And yet the one thing that's special in our work is what Montessori told us. If we observe and collect data, it doesn't help us help the child if we don't do something with the data.
Yes. And this is our favorite topic, yours and mine, reflection, the continual cycle of feedback and reflection and evaluation. So when we know what we want to achieve, we have a goal, and then we always need to go back and reflect and see what we learned. And so there are some nice people joining. I want to say hello to Olga to France, and Marit to Norway, and Lucia to Slovakia, and Plummy in Prague. So there's a comment from Lucia, and she says, hello from Dolní Kubín, Slovakia. These are accurate words for me. It encouraged me to make planned meetings this week. And thanks to this talk is going to be more complex and also concrete. Yes, nice. Structures.
And most important, Lucia, is do a check-in. When you have your meeting, bring people together and then start, could be one word, describe how you're feeling, or it could be the best thing that happened this week, but make sure everyone in the group contributes.
Yes, everybody needs to have a voice, and everybody needs to be heard, and that's a task also that a school leader. I sometimes wonder, like, who cares for the leader? Meaning, like, the leader cares for everybody, and I want to know who cares for the leader. And I think that's maybe a nice way for us to, like, a little bridge to making that introduction, because I want to, my whole being just wants to say, we at Montessori Institute Prague care for leaders, and Sue Pritzker does as well. So we want to share with you that we want to invite you. Okay, let's see if I can share my screen to the administrator. Of course, there's a beautiful course coming up in November. It's held on site, which is very special because nowadays a lot of stuff is going on online, but not so much on site. And this particular course has only on-site spots available now. And Sue is coming to Prague. That's the good news. And also together with Sue Eder Cuevas, who is currently a member of the AMI, Association Montessori International Board, and they lead this Montessori administrators course together. They make an extraordinary set of speakers and leaders. They both have years and years of experience leading Montessori schools, successful Montessori schools, and they will be sharing with a group of administrators the core knowledge that every Montessori school administrator needs to have. Sue, would you like to say a word about the course?
I think that, this course has been around for some time through AMI, the certificate course. But what's been so wonderful is I have really enjoyed, I enjoyed all the 12-week, all online class as well. But this format where we get to be in person is really special. I just finished the in-person course at the Montessori Institute of North Texas, and the people created this WhatsApp. They're talking with each other. They're asking questions. It's so much easier for you as a leader to be able to help people and really share with them answers to their questions, or to help them formulate their questions when you're in person over several days. And what really happens is when you're all together, you really have this incredible opportunity to learn from the other people that you're working with. So as much as I know sometimes we have to be online, the value of being together and having all the dialogue that we get to have when we are in person, and that's, when you're off camera too, just so I love it. And Prague is so wonderful because we get people from so many places coming, from all countries and different backgrounds. It's really wonderful. So I'm sure I could say something more specific, but that's what's in my heart about this course.
No, this is good. This is really good. I agree with you that there's a wealth of knowledge, a lot of information about the structures, quality areas, how Montessori school is part of the global Montessori community, and how to hire people, budget, strategic planning, all kinds of things. It's like a not a handbook, but a list of things and
Yes.
wealth of knowledge that you need to have as a Montessori school leader. And the course is amazing, not just for new people, but also for very experienced leaders, because and the reason why I'm talking about this, the question that I posed before I went into telling people about this course is, who helps a school leader? And this who cares for you, school leaders? And this course is in a way a form of self-care and self-preparation, and for a school leader it gives you a very holistic perspective on what you need to do in your role of a global school lead, of a Montessori school leader. So we invite you. These are the dates. It's October 26th through December 3rd. The 4 days in Prague, there are only 4 days in Prague in November. The rest of it are online sessions before and after.
Yeah.
And yeah, okay, so we do have a question. The school leader helps all team members. Who helps the school leader? Yes, we were trying to answer that now. Yes, this course definitely. Sue, do you want to say something?
You know, there's that person can change. And I will tell you the story. For me at Child Peace in the last years, the people that watched out for me were the people who worked in the kitchen. And then when they would see that like people were lined up at my door needing things, and then they would show up with some lovely little food. And so it can be different. Sometimes it's just one teacher saying something to you that or asking you to come and observe in their classroom. So I think that you have to ask yourself what you need, and then you need to tell other people what you need. That in fact, that's we are talking about feedback. So rather than waiting and then feeling bad because nobody noticed that you were absolutely underwater, it's good to say, I could really use a moment of silence, or, you know, it's fine if you come and bring me something. Does that make sense? So I do
Yes.
think we have to ask for what we need. And that also really builds in the school where people recognize you don't have to pretend that you're in your office or in your classroom taking care of everything without, like you're not some kind of a warrior.
Yeah. No. Oh, I like that a lot. What you just said. You have to be able to ask, and the leading sentence is, "It's fine if you bring me some chocolates,"
Yes,
or "It's fine if you come in and help me sort this library," or something like that. That's a very
it would
nice
be funny,
way.
but the person in the kitchen would bring me this food she made called poppers. And they're like green chilies that have cheese inside, and they're like fried. And occasionally she would make them. She made them for staff as a treat. So she knew that she could lift my spirits with poppers.
Yeah. Wow, that's so nice. Thank you so much, Sue. I think we are about at the end of our time. Thank you so much for coming. We had people from Vietnam, we had people from Prague, from Thailand, from France, from Norway, from Slovakia, from Spain. I'm so excited. From Romania. I'm so excited. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
And we hope to see some of you in Prague.
Exactly.
Eder and I love Prague. We love coming there. And we will give you, well, we're not going to answer all your questions, but we'll do a great job.
Yes. And there will also be a social event. So whoever comes to Prague, there's always one dinner at least that people have together. And yes. Yay. People saying, I learned. Yes. Okay, cool. Thank you so much, Sue. Have a lovely morning. Thank you very much. I'm ending the stream. Bye, everybody. And thank you.
And come to for you.
Thank you very much. We are kind of synchronized.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.